Welcome to the 17-18 school year. I hope you're off to a great start. For 4th grade, no changes were made to your curriculum or assessments in science this summer. Our standards are in the revision process, and we should be able to see a draft of the new standards from the state sometime in December. Curriculum work will take place this summer to make any adjustments we might need to comply with those new standards. One of the changes, though, that you will see in science this year is how you're going to access your curriculum materials. All of our order forms and our pacing guides and our standards charts and everything that you would need for 4th grade science will be available on this Canvas page. So we're going to start with looking for anything that you would need for FOSS, and you're going to click on this purple FOSS button down at the bottom of the page. And here you're going to find right up in front will be your contact information for the Science Center. And then if your kit has living materials, you're going to order those from here. So you'll find the updated living materials order form. Please make sure that you're ordering at least 2 weeks in advance of when you need the organisms. And if you order way in advance and you find that you're not going to be able to use them, please make sure that you contact Brad at least a week before you'd ask for them to be delivered so that we can cancel that order and conserve our resources. In 4th grade, you don't order your own kit, they come on a rotation, and if you'd like to see what that rotation is, you can click on this 4th grade kit rotation, and then you'll see an image of what kits you should have on your campus, and if you have one or two teachers who are teaching 4th grade science, you'll see which kits you're getting in the fall, which kits you're getting in the spring. The reason for the rotation the way that it is now is because of two things. One is that on some of the kits we have a limited number of titles of that kit in order to be able to send them out. And we want to make sure that all of our teachers have access to all of the curriculum during the school year. The other reason is that we also have limited manpower in the Science Center to be able to receive inventory, restock, and then send the kits back out. When the kits were going around on a quarterly basis, one of the issues that we ran into was that we didn't have enough time in the Science Center to be able to do all of that and to get the kits back out in a timely manner. And teachers were losing about 8 weeks of instructional time through that process because it took 2 weeks each time the kits had to be returned and then sent back out. So by changing our rotation this way, we're keeping the curriculum materials in the hands of teachers and in front of students for much more of the school year. We're only losing at most 3 weeks of the school year to the kits moving around for those teachers that have 1 or 2 teachers on their campus. You'll also find on this FOSS page some information about curriculum materials. A few years ago, teachers got together and they worked out some pacing guides and key ideas and vocabulary. They worked out correlations between the state standards and FOSS investigations. You'll also find the handouts that come for the investigations. You can also order these handouts through our district copy shop. You need to contact your school secretary for how you go about doing that on your campus. But these forms are free and you can order them either in a half sheet or a full sheet. The curriculum materials tab will take you to wrong curriculum materials tab. The FOSS web tab will take you to the access codes for the premium content in your FOSS kit. So the instructions are up here on how to access and if you haven't created a FOSS web account before, please make sure that when you're doing that you register as an individual. Sometimes that district registration part doesn't work, but the individual one always does. If we go back out to the main page, we'll find more information for 4th grade under the 4th grade tab. This is where you're going to find standards charts. On this 4th grade standards placemat, you will find all the strands 1 through 6 for 4th grade that should be taught during the 4th grade, which is kind of nice to have them on one sheet of paper on one side. Down here, what you'll see in the progression charts are how that standard looks over the progression of grade levels. So it gives you the idea of where your kids should be coming to you, what they should be able to do, what you have to teach them, and then where they're going next. That going next part is important because if you have advanced students, it gives you an idea if you're going to push them further of where you're going to push them into so that you're pushing them into the next grade level standards. In addition, seeing where they should be coming to you with, if your students are not coming to you being able to do some of the things that they should be able to do, then that might be a conversation that you have looking at your vertical alignment of science on your campus, and how the grade levels can kind of work together to make sure students are getting what they need at each grade level and having those skills, which are very important in science. This curriculum tab will take you to the district curriculum guide for 4th grade. You'll see in this particular guide, the one thing that I want to point out, so a lot of these, you're seeing kind of the same information that you were in the correlations guide from FOSS, so you're seeing where they match up. The investigations match up with the state standards. But what I also wanted to point out is for each area, there's also some additional activities and labs in here. So if there are, for some of the concepts that are not covered in FOSS, you might be able to look in here if you need ideas for supplementary lessons to be able to cover all of those standards. There are 5 required district assessments in 4th grade, and this first one will show you your assessment window. So there is an overall pretest that last year it was called pretest. This year it's called gap analysis. It's the exact same test. And this one should be given during the first month of school. This one is where we're looking at student skill coming into 4th grade, and it's based on 3rd grade standards. So it's where they should already be, what they should already know, particularly in strands 1, 2, and 3. This L at the end of the title of the test means that it's a low-level test and test security, and that means that you can see all the information about all your students and how they did on the test. You can see the item analysis, you can see the standards analysis, you can print results, you can see all the reports and things like that. The only thing you can't do with this test is print it out, give it to the students, and have them take it home. Really, that's the only thing you can't do with this test. The post assessments, there are 4, one that goes along with each of your kits, and they'll, just like last year, the windows are flexible so that if you're trying to teach everything before AIMS, you have that flexibility to be able to do that. Pretests are still available, they're optional, they're in all the 4 content area tests that go along with the 4 kits. Last year we did change the titles of the assessments to match up more closely with the standards as opposed to the name of the kit itself. And so these are the different assessment names that you would be looking for. Down below here you have some rationale about the different tests. I do want to point out that the 4th grade pretest, or that gap analysis test, is not appropriate for an SLO goal. There is no post that goes along with it. It's testing 3rd grade standards, not 4th grade standards, and so it's not an appropriate assessment to utilize for an SLO goal. The last tab that we're going to look at is this back to school updates. And we'll click on 4th grade. A lot of what I've gone through today is listed on here. I will have AIMS results will be posted in Canvas soon. You should also be able to get your personal AIM results or your school AIM results from your principal, because they should have that information at this point. Some of these things that we've already kind of clicked through. The one thing that I do want to point out are about the sample safety contracts. You don't have to use one of these contracts, but you do have to have some sort of documentation about a conversation that you have had with your students about safety before they go into an investigation. You can utilize one of these. If you have your own safety contract that you already use, that's fine too. You can do it as a safety pledge where we all agree to and then all the different things that you agree to, and then all the kids sign it. But in some way you need to have some written documentation that you've had that conversation. There's 2 reasons for that. One is that for the students, they tend to take it a little bit more seriously when they had to sign something. They're like, oh, my teacher really means what they're saying here on this. And then the other reason is for liability, so that if the unfortunate circumstance happens and something goes wrong, that you have some documentation that you've had conversations with your students regarding safety. You'll want to hold on to those, put them in a box, and just keep them. And then you can just throw next year's on top of it. From what our safety people say, we've been told to hold on to those for like 7 years. Down below, you'll find a list of all the different things that you'll find in Canvas. Some of these are still under construction, but they'll all be in there shortly. Some of the things that are still available over on the district portal and not just yet in Canvas are the safety data sheets and the animal and plant care. I'll be getting those moved over in the next couple of weeks so that everything will be available for you in this Canvas course. There's also some links down here below about DOK levels and then School City. On the DOK levels, the one that I really want to point out is this cognitive rigor matrix for math and science. It's a really nice handout because most of the time DOK handouts are more geared towards language arts. This one uses math and science examples and language, and so for us it's a little bit easier to kind of fit into where the task that we're asking kids to do, what DOK level that really is, because they use our language. As we go back to the homepage, I just want to point out that my contact information is here on the front of the homepage. Please do let me know if you have any questions. Have a great school year.